Alright guys, so today we're here to talk about the brand new SoundPEATS RunFree. Now, a little while back we talked about the RunFree Lite, and I think it's kind of odd that they came out with the Lite version before they just came out with the regular version. So the RunFree comes in at $49, although right now they have a coupon box you can check off on Amazon, and SoundPEATS sent me a coupon code that you guys can use, which brings them all the way down to $35. And I'll go ahead and say this right now, I believe the RunFree is one that can compete with basically all of the top tier brand open ear design sport headbands. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what all comes inside the box and basically see why I feel these are a steal at $35. And basically, even at their regular retail price, I still think they're a hell of a bargain. So to start with, like I said, this is an open ear design headphone. It is using air conduction, which means it's not bone conducting, which is relying on like the vibrating on your face. It's pretty much just relying on the direction of the speakers, and it allows you to just kind of be aware of your surroundings because you don't have your ear canal blocked, so you can hear, if you're going to be running, you can hear cars. If you're going to be in a work environment, you can hear people talking, or if you're just going to be at home, it allows you to listen to things like podcasts or even your music and still be able to carry on conversations. You're not just like shutting the world out around you. Now this pair is using 16.2 millimeter drivers, and it's using what they call an enhanced bass algorithm. Now most open ear like air conduction style headphones don't generally have bass. They're just flat. It's just the speaker pointed in the direction, and because you don't have like a seal, it's not allowing you to get bass impact. But they are doing some things here to give you bass, which we'll talk about when we get to the sound. One of the huge differences between the RunFree and the RunFree Lite is the RunFree Lite was like an all plastic build. It didn't have a whole lot of flexibility. It was pretty stiff, but it still served its purpose. Where the RunFree kind of reminds me a lot of the Shocks or Aftershocks product. It's basically an all silicone build. The neckband part's pretty thin. There's a ton of flexibility. You could twist and turn these and just kind of ball them up and throw them in your pocket if you want to. But the advantage to that is if you're going to be working out, going to the gym or running, there's so much flexibility, it's not going to bother you as much as something that doesn't have enough give. And this silicone is really soft on the skin, so it's very comfortable to use. Now, as far as the controls on here, everything's located on this little control box that sits right behind your ear, and it only uses 3 buttons, but I am happy to say that it gives you control over everything. So you have your play, your pause, your ability to skip your tracks forward, go backwards, your volume up and down, and it also allows you to switch these into a gaming mode, which is a huge plus because if you're going to use these for watching movies or TV shows or possibly gaming, it's nice that it's going to cut down on any kind of lag that you would have. And I think it did an excellent job here. It also has Bluetooth 5.3, which already cuts down on latency, but it also allows these to have multi-point connection. So you can connect to more than one device at a time, which makes it really easy if you are watching a movie and then somebody calls in on your phone. You can easily just switch over and take that call without having to go in and disconnect one thing to connect to another. Now, one thing that was pretty interesting to me is that the RunFrees work with SoundPEATS App. And again, I know I've said this, SoundPEATS App is not like the most mind-blowing thing out there, but this allows you to keep the RunFrees updated. It also allows you some pre-built EQ options, but you can also go in and customize the EQ settings you want. And then you can also go in and just manually turn these into gaming mode through the apps. If you don't want to do it on the headphone for whatever reason, you can do this within the app. And I think it's nice that you have these EQ options because, air conduction style headphones, you usually just get the sound the way that it is and you really can't do too much with it. And SoundPEATS is allowing you some controls, and it is actually effective on this pair. Now, as far as actually using these outdoors, they do come in with an IPX rating, which I find to be a little low. This pair doesn't have noise canceling, so they didn't have to worry about basically covering up the mics. There's also a flap that covers the charging port on these, and I feel like they could have gotten these a little higher than IPX4. So, as far as water protection, it'll be fine against rain and sweat and things like that. It's just not a pair that you would want to drop into water. water. Now, as far as what all they've included in the box, it does come with a USB-C cable. And speaking of that, the battery life on these is actually lower than it is on the RunFree Lite. Now, I think that's because these are using dual chips instead of a single chip that's in the RunFree Lite, which means it's giving you better processing power on the audio. You're going to get 14 hours on a full charge where you got 17 hours with the Lite. So it's not like a huge difference. There's no fast charging on here, so it's, you know, like an hour and a half to fully charge these. But the standby time on the RunFrees, if you don't use them and they're just kind of sitting there, is 120 hours. And that's pretty impressive. So if you are somebody that doesn't really use your headphones or whatever often, it's nice to know that, you know, no matter what, when you go to use them, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have battery life. Now, if you're going to use these for taking phone calls, which I feel a lot of people are, the mics are actually pretty decent. I felt like it did a really good job of focusing in on my voice, and in noisy environments, I felt like it did a really good job of blocking out a lot of my surroundings. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is the mic test on the RunFree, and overall, I think it picks up my voice very well. I feel like it sounds fairly natural, although it still does have some digital noise. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here's the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's go ahead and just jump right into the sound. Now, I said earlier in the video, it says it has like an enhanced bass algorithm. Now, I really don't know what that means, but the enhanced bass part, it is definitely doing something pretty impressive. Again, it doesn't seal your ear canal, so I really didn't expect these to have a whole lot of bass. And it's not going to be like a subwoofer type bass. Don't expect that at all. But it does have quite a bit of punch, and even at lower volume. So you don't have to turn these all the way up to be able to hear bass. You can actually hear it at lower volumes, and really that's the way that I like to use these. I like to listen to them low enough that I can be pretty much extremely aware of my surroundings, but I didn't feel like I sacrificed bass by doing that. So the bass was very impressive on these, but it is fast. It's not like a loose or sloppy bass. But what's really impressive is how clear these are. They definitely bump the mids up where vocalists and dialogue stood out. And the treble has a nice, almost somewhat bright sound to it. So, you know, it's not a bass heavy type of headphone where, you know, I would consider it like a consumer type curve, because it leans a little bit more towards the mids and the treble while allowing these to still have a pretty impactful punch. It's just a fun headphone to listen to, and I've always kind of had a bland experience with, you know, air conduction style headphones, basically where it just kind of gives you the ability to listen to stuff but not really enjoy it like you would a pair of earbuds or headphones. And they're getting closer to that. I feel like this pair is definitely knocking on the door of being able to kind of replace earbuds for some people. And the soundstage and the sound imaging is excellent, and you pretty much kind of expect that because of the design. Again, being able to have that open sound means it sounds very open, and it just does a really good job of being able to tell where sounds are coming from. You can hear it sweep from left to right. You actually can kind of get a sense of depth, and I really didn't expect that with these. I kind of expected a stereo left to right. Still, I did expect it to be pretty open, so I was really impressed with the audio quality overall. It's basically a premium neckband headphone that competes with the much more expensive brands. And it's a lot more comfortable than the RunFree Lights because it's a lot more flexible, and then that silicone, it just feels softer on your skin. But being able to work with the app and also having multi-point connection and then being able to kind of EQ these, you're really starting to get better audio quality out of a product like this. And it's starting again to kind of creep more towards your earbuds and your headphones. I don't think that they're trying to replace those by any means, but it's being able to allow you to enjoy your music a little bit better than a lot of the other air conduction or bone conduction style headphones. So at $50, and even the sale price right now that you can get for the first 5 days at like $35, this is an easy recommendation. I found these kind of basically sitting on my head all the time. You forget that they're there, and it just allows you to listen to your music in a lot more situations than you can with your earbuds or headphones. But guys, that's my video on the SoundPEATS RunFree. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.